Is this an election here in the US? Or is this an actual war that was put in place by the controllers who want to dominate the entire planet? I want to show you what this election is covering up. Plus, I'm going to give you 9 things that you can do for yourself so that you don't get derailed by the aftermath of November the 5th. And even if you're not in the US, you are probably still going to feel the intense energy in the aftermath of all of this madness. Now, before I get into all of this, I want to share with you what to me is the most amazing thing I have ever discovered here on planet Earth. It is this quantum frequency technology that I've been using for probably about 1.5 years now. It is fabulous. It is the most incredible discovery of any kind of technology here on Earth that I think I have ever, well, I know it's the most incredible one I've ever found. It is entirely transformational. It is a total asset to your evolution. It can address you on mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and ancestral levels. There's so much that it can do. I won't go into it here, but I do want to let you know that they are having a month-long Black Friday sale that starts right now. I'm going to put all the details in a link that I will give you underneath this video in the description. So you can go to that link. I will show you a little video of what it's done for me, what it means to me, and then you can go and check it out and see if it's something you want to get for yourself, which I highly, highly recommend, especially in November because the sales are really incredible. Okay, so let us get into today's topic. Now, I am obviously filming this before November the 5th, so I have no idea what is going on the day that I am posting this video, which is November the 5th. But I'm certain that I could take a wild guess that it's a very intense and very stressful day. And probably if you're watching this afterwards, it is more of the same. And even if you're in another country other than the US, you are no doubt feeling the intensity and the stress of this whole situation because it probably tends to overflow into the energy of everywhere else on the planet because it's kind of a big deal. So let me explain to you why I am saying this. I don't really think this is an election. I think this is a war. I think we are all experiencing a profound level of cognitive dissonance. If you listen to the rhetoric coming from both of the campaigns for this election, it really is the rhetoric of war. It's not your typical campaign rhetoric where each side is expressing their views and their policies, and the public gets to decide which one's policies they like the best. No, this is being presented as all-out war for the country. And I think it's very hard for us to grasp that because we here have never been in a war before. We here in the US think, well, war's always over there. We don't have wars here. It's always somewhere else. But if you really pay attention to what is being said and what is going on, I think it's kind of obvious that this is actually a real, genuine war. And the election is merely the backdrop. We think it's about the election, but it's actually about a war that is unfolding before our very eyes. Think about this, you all. They have already tried to kill one of the candidates 2 times. And it's very odd that everyone's sort of like, well, yeah, you know, it's like we sort of act like that's kind of normal. Well, guys, it's kind of normal if you're in a war. It's not normal if it's an actual election that's the main event. So all of this violent rhetoric and attempted killing and all the things going on makes sense if you understand you're in a war. And I kind of suspect that maybe on some unconscious level, or maybe a conscious level, many of us are aware of this. So if we frame this accurately, it is a war that is taking place in the setting of an election. So the actual war is the event, and the election is merely the backdrop. Now, we've already been told by both sides that after November 5th, this is all going to spill over into actual violence. And the weird thing is that so many people just accept that, well, yeah, of course that's going to happen, right? Do you see how we're kind of already understanding that we're experiencing an actual war? Now, let me go a little bit deeper into the nature of this war, and then I will share with you the 9 things that you can do to take really good care of yourself, no matter what is going on in the outer world. So, why would a war be manifesting here in the US? Well, for one thing, I think the controllers probably believe that this country is probably the biggest boulder standing in their way. And if they figure if they can get rid of that boulder, then yay, they're going to get to do whatever they want with the rest of the world. But if you've watched my other videos, if you've been following me for a while, then you probably know that the controllers are actually merely the visible minions of something much deeper and far more interdimensional. And if you want to know more detail about that, you can go and watch this video right here. So I think what is actually going on, what all of this is covering up, what's actually happening at a deeper level beneath the surface, is that we might be at the point that I talked about in that last video, where now it's about getting that energy, it's reptilian, it's demonic, it's that destructive energy, the energy that's present in advance of AI, whose purpose it is to take down the current civilization so that it can be remade and restructured into a fully AI autonomous global so-called civilization. So that might be part of what's underlying this entire war or battle that I've just been describing. Because if you remember, I was sharing with you all last time that it's really important that those destructive forces are brought under control at exactly the right timing so that AI can move in and complete its larger planetary agenda. So I think this is where we're at this moment, not only for the US, but probably around the world. If you look at planet Earth as being like a laboratory in space for these forces that we don't fully see or maybe even understand, that are all about shifting the purpose of Earth from a beautiful paradise meant to host natural biological life into a very different purpose, which is meant to host a new species of an AI silicon life form. The beginning of that involves unleashing very powerful interdimensional demonic kind of energies to destroy the current civilization, to take apart the current human organic creator life form in order to pave the way for everything to be transmuted and transformed into a new AI silicon-based life form, as opposed to a natural carbon-based biological life form. But you've got to get those forces, or they have to get those forces under control. It doesn't happen in a day. It's like a process where it has to be brought under control at just the right timing. So those forces are brought down while AI is being brought up. And I'm telling you, you can see it within the next 5 years. You can literally see this happening before our very eyes. So I think that this election here in the US is a part of that process. That's what the war is about. See, we see everything in human terms in our limited Earth-based view based on what we've experienced in our lives here so far. So we see it as a war of opposing forces on the planet itself. But it's not actually a war in the way that we understand war here. It's actually about, are these forces of destruction that have been deliberately unleashed for a very specific purpose in this larger laboratory called planet Earth, are they going to be able to bring those forces to heel in time and in the exact right timing so that they don't do so much damage that they make it impossible for AI to move into the planet at the extent that it wants to? You see, because those forces of destruction, let's face it, you guys, they could literally destroy everything. And it's important to AI that that's not allowed to happen. So I think we're sort of at an apex point right now, which perfectly fits in timing-wise with the continuing evolution of AI and how it's exponentially advancing in terms of that technology. This is something no one is talking about. It's happening underneath all of this surface chaos that we're seeing right now. So everything that I've shared with you here today so far represents what it looks like when we view the circumstances here on Earth from an extraterrestrial point of view. Extraterrestrial does not mean space people in spaceships. It has to do with perspective. It simply means take a step away from planet Earth and look at it from a neutral point of view. Look at it from the point of view of what you actually know at your higher level of intelligence, but may have suppressed because what you actually know does not fit in with the conditioning that we're all exposed to here on planet Earth. But when you take a step back and you say, let's just look at the bigger picture, you can see so much more than you're able to see when you're caught up in these smaller events that are happening on the surface of the planet in this one finite dimension. And another reason I find this so valuable to take this kind of perspective is because it takes you out of the fray. It takes you out of the craziness. It takes you away from feeling like you are somehow a part of all of this madness. So it can actually bring you a tremendous sense of peace and confidence and just a sense that you're stable, you're grounded, you're centered, because you recognize that your existence in the universe is far more prominent and powerful than just your current time here on planet Earth. Okay, so now let's talk about what you can do for yourself to survive what is possibly going to be a pretty terrible energy from November 5th and beyond, no matter where you are in the world. And everything I'm going to share with you is something that you can apply for other situations. It doesn't only have to be for this election chaos. It can actually be anytime you feel you need it. And I think you'll know when and if you need it when you hear everything I have to share. And here's a cool thing, because as I was putting all of these 9 points together, I thought to myself, well, these guys are probably going to want to write these down. And if they have to be writing while they're watching the video, it's going to be kind of a pain. So guess what I did? I had this brilliant idea. So that you don't have to worry about that, I put all 9 points on a downloadable PDF, which I will give you. I'll put a link and you can just go and click the link and then you can get it and download it for yourself so that you can just watch the video and you don't have to be thinking you have to remember every one of these 9 points. And on that PDF, I'm also going to put a link back to this video. So if you want to get the details, you can just click that link, come back, watch it again, and refresh your memory. Okay, so when circumstances become a very chaotic, very unpredictable, maybe even violent in cases, this is going to cause a lot of stress and anxiety. It's going to cause fear and anxiety because we are going to naturally react to that. But what is our greatest fear when we find ourselves reacting with tremendous anxiety and stress over such situations? What is the core fear that we're experiencing? The core fear is a fear that our personal lives are going to be out of control. Try this little experiment, you guys. The next time you're looking at the news or you're hearing about stuff going on and you're really feeling freaked out, just stop for a moment and say, what am I really afraid of? And I will bet that the answer will be, I'm afraid that my own life is going to get out of control. I think that's the core underlying fear in all of these kinds of situations. So that's the fear we want to address, because when we address that, you can come back to yourself again, find your strength, find your power, and have a vastly different experience than one that is just really uncomfortable and not a pleasant place to be. So we're going to talk about how to shift out of a state of powerlessness and into a new state of confidence and feeling like you are in control. So the first thing you want to do is to take some form of action that will help your brain feel that it is in control again. And that's going to help you calm your entire nervous system. Now, when you look at your life, there are things that you can control and there are things that you cannot control. So you want to start by focusing on what you can control. And that starts with your consciousness. So we want to get the brain into alignment with that true fact. So the first thing that you can do is to do something physical that shows your brain that you are in control of your own consciousness and your experience. Now, let me show you a very simple way that you can do this. You want to choose a space in your home that you designate as a calming space. This is a space for you to either meditate or just sit and be calm and quiet. Now, this is important because this is how you're going to teach your body and your brain. When we sit in this space, this brings us into a state of calm. So what you want to do, and this is the physical action that you can take, is you want to just do a few things to accentuate the fact that you have designated this space for this purpose. You could do things like bring a candle in there or a living plant. Maybe you want to make sure there's a comfy chair or a nice pillow or maybe even a nice cozy blanket. The most important thing is that you decide this is my calming space. So however elaborate you want to make it, however simple you want to make it, the physical act of creating it, even if it just means putting a few things like some crystals or whatever has meaning for you in that space, you're going to have a feeling, okay, I have someplace physical that I can go where my body, my mind, my emotions, my brain, fundamentally, my whole nervous system just goes into a lovely state of calm. You just want to create an atmosphere of peaceful ambiance. So this can help shift you out of a reactive state because it will cause your brain to send signals to your body that you are taking control of your experience. Now, the second thing you want to do is to think of ways to calm all 5 of your physical senses, because we are multisensory beings. So let me share a few examples of how you can do that. Let's start with the sense of hearing. How can you calm yourself through that sense of hearing? Well, that's very simple. Play some sort of peaceful, calming, healing music. The reason I say this is because music has a powerful frequency. And as you listen to that music, it's going to bring your body into resonance with that calming, healing frequency of the music that you chose. Next, let's look at our sense of sight. How might we calm our sense of sight? Well, looking at a candle, just not staring at it, but just kind of gazing at it. Have a candle, have 2 candles, have 3 if you like, and just gaze at the candles. There's something about candlelight that is very calming. You can also look out a window at the beautiful trees. No matter what time of year it is, there's something very calming when you gaze at nature itself. It brings you into a different kind of resonance with the natural world. And the natural world, in a sense, is very stabilizing because, first of all, it connects us to the earth and the planet. And because it's normal, right? It's what we are naturally a part of. We are inherently a part of nature. So you can calm your sense of sight by just looking at nature, by just observing nature. And next, let's talk about our sense of smell. Well, the best way is to find a fragrance that is calming, such as essential oils. Diffusing your favorite relaxing essential oil, or just applying it to your skin and inhaling it, or put it in your hands and inhale it. Inhale it with the intention of calming your entire being. And next we have our sense of touch. How can we nurture and calm our sense of touch? Well, that's pretty easy, actually. All you need is a comfy chair to relax in, a nice pillow, a cozy blanket. There are all kinds of ways that you can support your physical sense of touch to feel more secure. And then finally, we have our sense of taste. I think a warm or hot beverage is a wonderful way, just tasting that, your favorite cup of tea, your favorite cup of coffee, something that just makes you feel comfortable, just to taste the sweetness or the flavor or the warmth of that drink. And when you think of all five senses together, and you say to yourself, I'm going to calm all of my five senses, you are being an amazing steward of your physical embodiment, of your entire physical presence. And we're only on number 2 right now, so hopefully you can start to see that you literally have a lot of power that maybe you weren't actually paying attention to. See, just with these 2 things, you're already creating a completely different energy and vibration around your entire being that is more powerful in your experience than the outer world's chaos, insanity, and craziness. And what we're really trying to do overall is we're trying to get ourselves out of a fear state that's either going to manifest as fight, flight, or freeze. So let me just share with you a little bit about what those 3 states can look like in one's everyday life, because you might be in one of those states and not even realize it. So let me share with you some of the ways that you can identify that you might be in one of those states. So if there's craziness going on in the world and you're feeling very fearful or anxious, let's say that throws you into a fight state. Well, you might just get really angry. You might start taking it out on other people. You might start taking it out on yourself. You might get mad about your life. You might get mad about other people. But overall, you are in a state of fight where your nervous system is all worked up. And that's not a healthy state, because that is a state of fear. Anger is actually the polar opposite of fear. A lot of people think love's the opposite of fear, but actually anger is the opposite of fear. And that's a whole other topic I do get into in one of my books, The Final Elimination of the Source of Fear. You can get that book on Amazon if you want. But if you're in a state where you're really mad and you're just taking it out on your life, yourself, the people around you, and you're just really angry and upset, that's a fear state. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just simply saying that if you want to calm yourself, sometimes it's helpful to recognize that. Now let's talk about a flight state. Let's say you're in a state of fear and anxiety and it throws you into an experience of flight, like you want to run away, you want to get away, you just want to leave. Well, there's several ways that can manifest. It can manifest as endless binging on Netflix or endless scrolling on some screen. It can manifest as in the form of alcohol or some sort of drug, anything to get you to be unconscious to the world around you. That's a state of flight. In other words, things are so insane on this planet. Things are so crazy. I can't cope. I can't deal with it. I just need to get away from it all. I'm going to put myself in a state of unconsciousness through whatever means I can find. That's when we're in a state of flight. So we've talked about fight, we've talked about flight. Now let's talk about freeze. What does that look like? Because sometimes you can just end up in paralysis. You're just so freaked out. You just feel paralyzed, right? And that's pretty simple to recognize, because when you're in a state of freeze, you're basically in a state of complete overwhelm where you feel like you just can't do anything productive and you just can't do much of anything at all. And it's really hard to think. So all 3 of these are fear states. As I said before, it's not that any of these states are wrong. I'm not even saying you have to get out of them if you don't want to. This is only for people who want to not be in those states, want to be in an empowered state of calm and confidence. But the issue with those fear states of fight, flight, or freeze is this. Those are states of powerlessness, feeling powerless. And they basically all drive you into a state of unconsciousness where you basically lose control of your own experience. So what I've shared with you so far in these first 2 things is what you can do to get yourself out of any one of those 3 states. Now, the third thing I'm going to share with you is a really interesting little tip. The third thing is you can talk to your brain. A lot of times we think we are our brains. We think that whatever's happening in my brain is me, but not really. So more than just talking to your whole brain, you can talk to the part of your brain. I think it's called the amygdala. It's what's often referred to as the reptilian part of the brain. This is the fear part of the brain. This is a part of the brain that pumps all these hormones, fear hormones into our system and adrenaline, and it wreaks havoc on our nervous system. My personal opinion is we don't need that part of our brain. I'm not suggesting that anybody get it taken out. I'm talking about it on an evolutionary basis. I think we could actually evolve out of needing that part of our brain. Right now, we kind of need it because it's part of us, right? But hopefully at some point, we will evolve out of needing it at all because we do not need fear. What we need is consciousness. So because you are an infinite being who is fully conscious in your state of wholeness and state of being completely awake to who you are, you don't have fear. The being that you are does not experience fear. It's the brain that's causing all this trouble in terms of your physical existence here. So you can be the kind, loving being that you are, the being that occupies your physical body, and you can talk to your brain and calm it down. And here's a little trick. If that doesn't work, focus on that part of the brain, the amygdala, and put pink light around it because pink is very soothing. It's very calming. And you have the power to do this. It's just something we don't usually think about because we think we are our brains. So when you've calmed yourself down enough from the first two things I shared with you, this is something else you can do. You can just talk to your brain, tell your brain, we're fine, everything's fine, we're going to be fine, I'm taking good care of you, and then put pink light around that fear-based part of the brain, and you will see that you will instantly start to feel better. Now, number 4 is now you are ready to remember your ultimate purpose. Your purpose for why you even exist. See, you are actually on a cosmic journey of evolution. So what does that mean exactly? It means that your ultimate purpose is to strengthen your ability to function as a creator, which means to get better and better at manifestation and at being in command of your own life and experience. That is your larger purpose in the universe. So you want to remind yourself of that purpose. You want to get reoriented with that purpose and get centered in that purpose. Okay, so now you've calmed yourself, you've gotten centered, you've reoriented yourself with your purpose again. And now let's talk about number 5. Number 5 is about making a decision. You want to make a firm decision that no matter what is happening here on planet Earth, you will continue to evolve yourself as a human creator. You want to remind yourself of how tiny this planet Earth really is. This planet is literally a fragment of your much, much larger cosmic experience. Have you all seen the famous photograph called the pale blue dot? This is an actual photo of planet Earth taken in 1990 by the Voyager 1 space probe. This photo was taken from a distance of 3.7 billion miles, or 6 billion kilometers. I mean, this is a tiny little speck of dust floating in a sunbeam. And this is not to suggest that, oh, planet Earth is just completely insignificant. Not at all. Nothing in this entire universe is insignificant. I mean, look at the amazingness of planet Earth. Look at the nature. Look at ourselves. Look at what we're able to create. It's highly significant. It's just that we develop a real big distortion about Earth's importance in the universe. We tend to live as though this planet is all there is. It's everything there ever was, is, and will be. And if we don't get it right here, we are doomed. No. The universe is massive. It's huge. Your journey is forever. It's a forever journey. So as long as you stay centered in the ways that I've shared with you, You don't have to get caught up in the turmoil that this little planet is currently undergoing and experiencing. Instead, I suggest that you look at this planet, how tiny it is. Look at it with amazement at what an amazing creation this is. That so much beauty and grace and artistry and gorgeousness and potential can exist in this tiny little speck. What an incredible universe we live in. That's the way you want to see our planet. Not with white-knuckled grip of, oh my God, everything's terrible here. This is it. This is all there is. There's nothing else. We're doomed. You see what I mean? Okay, so let's move on to this number 6 of the number of things that you can do. The next thing you want to do is you want to find a personal goal in your life that you can commit to. This is going to put your focus on your own evolution. It's going to put your focus on something productive that you can commit to that's going to empower you. And if you can really get a feel for everything I've shared with you so far, we're talking about consolidating energy. Because see, with all the insanity going on in the world, and who knows what's going on as I post this video, I don't even know what's going to be happening after November 5th. But those events can drain our energy. They can completely throw us off. And what we're talking about here is bringing your energy back to center again. Bringing your consciousness back into a state of harmony and equilibrium. And you have the power to do this. Don't let the craziness on planet Earth define you, your life, and your experience. So when you choose a personal goal, why do we call it a goal? We generally call things a goal because it means we're going to evolve into something better. We're going to evolve into something more of who we really are. This does not have to be a big goal. It can be a small goal. It might be, you know what? I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. Or I want to get 8 hours of sleep. Or I want to exercise 3 times a week. It doesn't matter what it is. You pick whatever has meaning for you. It might be a change of a habit. It might be a change in a way of looking at things. But just choose one goal that you can commit to so that you have a point to focus your energy, focus your actions, even if it's small, even if it's only a part of your day or a part of your week. It's going to bring your energy back to you again and get it consolidated where it belongs, which it belongs. Your energy belongs to you in a way that empowers you. It doesn't belong to all the craziness. It belongs to you. So when you choose a goal, the key part of this statement is that you can commit to. Don't choose a goal that you can't commit to, you guys. Not going to go anywhere, right? Pick something that you feel, yeah, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to make that effort. And if it has to be a very small goal and a small effort, that's fine. At least it will bring your focus back to center again. Okay, let's talk about thing number 7 that you can do to support yourself. This is an interesting one. I want to suggest that every day you do some bit of reading from a physical book, not a screen, an actual physical book with paper pages and a cover and ink printed on the pages, because there's something about reading from a physical book that's very, very grounding, especially when all the input we're getting is coming from screens, is coming from the internet. When you sit down with a physical book, whatever book you want, you are going to feel it's just between me and what I'm reading. And it's a very different experience than reading stuff online. So, maybe you just want to read a paragraph. Maybe you want to read a whole chapter. That's entirely up to you. But the act of sitting down with a physical book once a day is really going to support your larger experience. Try it out. Okay, and number 8, the 8th thing that you can do is to do one small act of kindness every day for a person, a plant, or an animal. Basically for any living thing. Now, why would this help? It helps because it moves love through your body. It moves love through your nervous system. And love is the most powerful healing balm in the entire universe. So pay attention when you do a small act of kindness, how much better you actually feel. That's because you have positioned yourself to let love flow through you, which means you also get to experience the very same love that you are giving to someone or something else. And now we're at number 9, which is a very, very, very important thing. Number 9 is to establish very strong boundaries around your mind, your thoughts, and your life in general. This is how you become the protector of yourself, your consciousness, and your experience, and everything you've done so far in the first 8 steps of what I shared. Because you see, when everything's in a state of chaos and overwhelm and insanity and confusion, it's really, really, really important that you practice the art of creating boundaries where they are appropriate. Because remember, if you don't protect your space, you're not going to be able to evolve. You're not going to be able to function as a creator in your life, because then you will become highly reactive and possibly very, very overwhelmed. So all of the things that I've shared with you will create a space within which you can continue to move forward in your life, even though the outer world might be very chaotic, maybe even violent, just completely off the rails. And I'll add on another extra here, which is always remember to pray and talk to your angels. Whatever prayer means to you, maybe it means just talking to the universe, talking to God, talking to Source. But remember to talk to your angels as well, because their purpose is to support and help you through any kind of life difficulty that you might be experiencing. Okay, so this is a way that you can maintain your center, your power, your peace, your clarity, your confidence, your ability to create, to manifest, and to continue evolving forward within your larger cosmic journey. And remember, I put the main notes for each of these 9 points on a PDF for you, so you don't have to remember it. You can download it just by clicking a link that I will put below. And at the bottom of that PDF, you will see a link back to this video in case you want to come back and refresh your understanding of everything that I shared. And I really, really hope that these suggestions are going to help you navigate and get through whatever kind of craziness is yet to be in store here on this tiny little planet Earth. Also, remember to check out this quantum frequency device. There's a quantum technology. There's no AI in this, you guys. This is completely aligned with nature. It's amazing. It's incredible. It will support you through anything and everything. So click that link too and check this out, especially in November for the Black Friday sales. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with as many people as you feel could benefit from these suggestions with everything that we're going through in this world. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell, because I am here on Tuesdays with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational, peaceful energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.